start. Hey, we're here. Welcome back, everyone, to the Big Ten. Actually, I think it's the Big Ten. I may have completely messed up my ordering of the episodes, and it feels like it should be more than 10. But yeah, we're on episode 10
12.
by the title.
I think two things have been counted twice. I think it's 12, but yeah.
12.
It quite possibly is. Yeah, if you guys got 12, I don't know how I've ended up with 10, but oh well. We're back for another lovely session with some lovely people. How's everyone doing?
All good.
Doing good.
If you can just discuss things whilst I change the title to episode 12, that would be lovely. Oh no, because I must have
Weekly.
misnamed some of the other ones, so I'll just leave it at 10 for now. Oh well.
Good. The other ones were bonus episodes.
Yeah, really.
I have 10 in my notes, but I don't know.
See, you guys have just messed it up, alright? No, we're all good.
I'm the one writing the chapters here.
Are you sure about that?
But yeah, no, we're back. We'll just delve right into it, really. So, if you guys can recall, you are all currently inside what feels to be like a large forging room for big equipment that was run by the Minotaurs inside the entrance to the mine shaft that they were digging to get Yagarath the Shadow out of a jail cell. You're currently holed up in this forge room after having killed the Minotaurs from it and sneaking around their camp to discover some things about them. You've learned the numbers. You've kind of learned maybe a little bit about the structure system, about who's in charge. You've seemed to have found the boss. And you've also found this one huge fire demon that's kind of like lying in the middle of the camp, exhaling some really hot air that's warding away the cold. And it's making you guys probably a little bit overheating, to be honest, because you guys have that potion of cold warding as well. But yeah, it's very sweaty. The floor's covered with bones and bits of flesh from the Minotaurs, really not cleaning up the area very well. And you've just read some of the notes. You've just flew around as a fly, if I remember correctly, to read some of the notes that are written in Infernal. And you've just reconvened in the forging area to try and discuss a plan, of which I don't really know if you have discussed it out of game, because I've seen like 3 different plans. But yes, what are you all doing?
Yeah.
Amazing question.
It is a good question. Quite an important one as well, I have to say.
Waiting for Eric. Is Eric back yet?
Yeah, you all just returned together. Eric
Yeah.
just got back.
Eric's come back and explained that there are going to be an elite team, hopefully, of Minotaurs sent to liberate Yagarath. So perhaps Eric is pro removing the demons and sees this as an opportunity to get rid of a few of the more powerful ones before taking on the camp in a potentially stealthier way.
Stealth is good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we think of how we could maybe block the door if they were to enter? We need them not to escape for sure.
Wilston.
Aye.
As resident inventor, do you have anything we can use to set a trap? Perhaps I know, one-way door. I'm thinking lobster pot here. They come into the forge room, they can't get out again.
Well, usually I solve problems with explosives, but I can try and come up with something.
Yes. Explosives would be an excellent way to block off the tunnel. It's just getting us out the other side after.
Another explosion, maybe?
I like
Explosion
it.
1, collapse tunnel. Explosion 2, break collapse tunnel.
I'm glad to see Wilston has such a large repertoire of things for that.
I'll think of something.
I'm mostly here just to stab.
And you're
Maybe
very good at it, Janus.
we could keep it simple and just stand on one side and try and stop them from returning. It is, as we've found out, quite loud out there.
I mean,
Yes, it's
we
true.
could let them all come in, and then Wilson gives me haste again, and then I can get behind them, and we just kill them all.
It's nothing
mean-
personal.
Exactly.
I mean, we have an entrance here, and the cave goes back a bit. We could hide in the. I'm not going to do that. Gesture. We could hide in the little areas here, and then once they're in the middle, we could jump out at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's pillars in the room as well, aren't there?
No, this room is basically a big, like, half dome with a flat floor. The forge is kind of like in the middle to the. If you come in from Yagarath's cell, it's in the middle to the left a little bit, and it's quite tall, and it goes to the roof, and there's like a big chimney that leads out through the rock above.
Okay.
And there was also that other room as well that was further down the tunnel as well, if you remember, the room where they had thrown in all their kind of like broken shit.
Hmm.
But other than that, that's all that's kind of around you at the moment.
Well, we throw all the bodies in that room then. And
I
kind
believe
of
you
clean up.
burned the bodies.
We burnt the bodies.
You did.
Oh,
We
yeah,
threw
we
them
did.
in the
Yeah.
forge.
Oh yeah, I did that. I forgot that.
How could you forget?
It's
Yeah.
just
An
another day.
untraumatic experience.
It's just an automatic response, okay?
Wilson, do you have any explosives that are very good for blocking off a section, aside from collapsing the roof? Do you have anything? Did you have a heat grenade or something? Do I remember that correct? It was very dark.
A heat grenade. You mean to detect heat?
No. The producers.
I mean, I have Molotovs, but they don't last very long.
How long does Janus need?
Couple hours.
Roughly about 12 seconds that I was counting.
I mean, I can create a solid stone wall if you so wish. It's more difficult for me to do. It's something I can only do once a day, but if we try and deal with the problem first, and then if that were to fail, I could block off the exit.
It seems that would be an excellent way to prevent the escape of anything if just all of a sudden there's a rock wall in the way.
By the way, this is
Wall
this
of stone?
is wall of stone. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 foot by 10 foot panels of 6-inch thick
Yeah,
stone.
that'll just about cover the doorway.
Lovely.
How many are in this elite team?
Sorry, I was going to say, from what you remember, Eric, there was 7 on the list, but he was still writing the list at the time you were kind of looking at his notes.
He wasn't finished.
No.
However, I mean, we have the advantage of knowing that they're coming. If we could, I mean, I don't know about you, Hal. There are some things that I can cast before people enter. Is there
Make it
anything
harder
that
for
Exactly. Are there any little bugs crawling around right now?
Not very many at all. In fact, probably not, because this is in a very remote place in the mountains. There aren't really very many small critters.
That's very fair.
That, or we find a way to, or wait for this elite squad to just come in. Then, as we said, Janus just appears behind them and stops them leaving again.
Yes. I think we have
Is-
a few options. Is all very useful.
Is anyone here capable of making people invisible to the naked eye? I mean, I know I'm perfectly capable of disappearing, but that's not a magical thing.
That's just because nobody pays attention to you, Velios.
I mean, I prefer to think of myself as under the radar. There's no need to hurt my self-esteem, so...
Easy.
Under the radar, under the average, under a lot of things.
If we're speaking of under the average, I think that... Does that not include your height, whilst...
I
Who
am a
went there?
perfectly average dwarf. Midget.
Yes, but you're a gnome.
Gnome. Couldn't think of the word.
It's nice to know you pay attention to what goes on in the mirror.
His brains make up for his lack of stature.
Does
I'll
Mira
have
stay
you
in
know
touch?
that I pay a lot of attention to what I see in the mirror, except the thing I see in the mirror is usually the ceiling.
I can't argue with that. So, I mean, if
To
it,
answer your question, though, I can't become invisible, but I can blend in with people quite well.
I was
Probably
just
not what you're looking for, but
Oh,
I was
yes.
just thinking that I'm aware that there are some arcane matters that can render someone invisible, and if we applied that to Janus, then he could just sort of stand next to the doorway and then appear ready to beat everything out of whatever comes through.
Well, I think whatever happens, we need to let them get a fair bit into the room so that there's more of a distance that we can hold. I can help us to hide better in the room. You remember before I've made it so that we could pass without a trace. I could do something similar.
That would be incredibly useful.
What if we get a bundle of those broken pickaxes and everything? I lay on the ground, you cover me with them, and then I just pop up when they come into the room.
I think we certainly could do that.
And I'm wearing armor, so it's gonna look normal.
bad ideas.
You're just a. I mean, could we fabricate a pile of armor scraps off to one side, perhaps, that we could hide Janus in?
I
Just
feel.
stay really still and be
Or
a suit of armor.
we can weld a couple things to Janus's armor so he can crouch into a ball and look like a pile of scrap.
Sure, you won't allow that.
I
You're not
feel
welding
like
anything to my armor.
we are overcomplicating the simple matter of we could just hide behind the entrance where they would not see us until they were already in the room.
That is.
That is a
Perfectly
simple
reasonable.
solution to a simple problem, and that is not how Winston's mind
I'm
thinks.
sorry, I'm a simple man.
What
So
if we
that
tie
is
a bunch of
hide-
explosives to Janus and he just runs in?
I'd be
mean-
okay with this.
Surely, I would be very up for you creating some landmines, Wilston, for them to step on.
Landmines.
Controlled explosions.
If we give them something to approach on the other side of the room, perhaps we could guarantee that they walk in so far. I'd like to clarify that I'm not volunteering as bait
You
I'll do
beat me
that.
to it.
before you get there.
But Bellerock, you make such perfect bait.
I can't deny that.
Can't help but just wander towards you.
Hypnotic personality, perhaps.
Either that or they just can't wait to get you to shut up.
Well, should we find somewhere to hide and then attack?
That seemed sensible. Gage, actually,
Mm-hmm.
real quick. How tall is the ceiling in here?
It's about 20, 25 feet tall. At like the
Cool.
middle point. Obviously, it's like a dome, like I said, but
Mhm.
it's
Okay.
probably more like an oval. Like it goes up a bit steeper at the
Mm.
sides and then kind of comes together at the top.
Okay. How high up does the light, like, forge stuff?
It covers pretty much the whole room. It's just a big fuck
Okay.
off fire in the middle.
There's no way to hide in the shadows in, like, up top. if I pinned myself in them.
I mean, no, but you could just trust that they wouldn't look up. You could always hide behind the chimney that's at the top.
That is true.
The chimney from the forge goes all the way up. It's about 5-foot tube.
Remember,
And
guards don't look up.
The forge itself is a very big structure as well.
That's just I have
The
some,
walls and sorry, Kara.
I have some climbing pythons that I could pin up the wall and be on the side, ready to drop down behind anybody that wanders too far into the room.
Actually try and make landmines.
What do you have to make landmines with? How are you making landmines?
I have scraps of metal and probably gunpowder.
Do you have gunpowder?
I know you have a bunch of stuff in your bag of holding.
Let me check. I don't think I have like specifically gunpowder because I kind of just rely on.
Do you have
Oh,
any
God.
artificer features that you can use to do stuff like that? You can make stuff, definitely. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, because all I would need to make gunpowder is sulfur and like carbon, which carbon I could get from, we're in a forge. I can just
you
like,
did just burn a bunch of bodies.
for example, or I could just like scrape already burned stuff out of the forges, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And sulfur, like they're demons. Surely they have some sulfur
Cycling.
in them.
Not that you've seen.
Surely they have eggy farts.
There's
Fire and brimstone.
In fact, pretty much everyone here is Minotaurs anyway, so the Minotaurs don't have any sulfurous nature to them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Have some perfume, and that's made of alcohol.
However, you
It's
do recall
flammable.
that there is a extremely large fat demon that's lying in the middle of the camp that breathes out fire every 5 minutes. Maybe that could have something that might help you.
But he's alive. I can't harvest. I can't just like go out and be like, "Sup, mate? Let me get some sulfur from you," and just fucking leave. Like
Not with that attitude.
I can't. Velios though.
I just knew that was coming.
With confidence, you can do anything.
That is entirely true.
This has enough of it.
Doesn't Velios have like a bunch of chemicals on them? Like use.
I have a few minor alchemicals. I mean, I've got a couple of flasks with a letter of alchemist's fire, if that's of any use to you.
What is alchemist fire?
It's the fire made by alchemists. It's a sort of delightful little liquid concoction that, when exposed to air, is incredibly flammable. I find it very useful for cauterizing wounds and also creating also minor explosions. It's not quite as fine as black powder, but it does the job.
I could probably tinker with it. See if I can come up with something.
Give me 1 second. Yep. And Avelos is going to reach into his belt and just pop a couple of small vials, which are filled with like a sort of sticky but slightly viscous, sort of clear liquid. Imagine like cross between petroleum jelly and just sort of like fuel. And just goes, try not to expose it to air until the last second. As I said, when I said it's incredibly flammable, I really did mean.
In the meantime, Janus is going to pat Eric on the head.
So yeah, you have 2 vials of alchemy fire, Wilson.
Alright, let me add those to my inventory.
Okay. So you don't actually know when this elite team's going to come through exactly, but you know that it's going to be at some point today. And you've been having quite a long discussion up till this point, so I think you might be starting to feel the edge of maybe a bit of anxiousness that they might be coming soon. You can't talk forever. I guess that's probably what you're feeling.
Let's just go over the ledge thing that we came through and just hide there, and then when they come through, ambush them.
Do we want somebody waiting by the tunnel that leads out, by that exit as well, to stop them leaving again?
I'll wait by the exit. I can hide until they're past.
Yeah, you could do your mushroom thing.
Yes.
The rest of us will go over the ridge, wait. I guess Evelios, you can keep an eye out because you're sneaky and they won't spot you.
Yeah. I wonder back up. Did any of you have any way of communicating remotely with me? That's something I'm not very good at. Long commute.
That's not.
I can make you a stone that farts.
So are we saying that the three of you are going to be in the other room? Evelios and I will be in the forge room and then follow them through.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah,
I can be.
Because where we came from the cell, I'm pretty sure it's like up above.
Where you came
Because-
from the cell, it's like a ramp that leads up into this
Yeah.
room. So if you go further down enough the ramp, then obviously they won't be able to see you from the forge room.
Exactly. And so the rest of us will be over there, and then you and Evelios can drop down behind them, and then we could just trap them in.
The aim is to trap them in the forge room.
Yes.
The age. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They come into the forge room. A couple of us pop out behind them once they're into the middle. The rest of us come up the tunnel and then pinch them.
Yes.
This seems like a flawless plan where these very strong minotaurs they walk into the room. They see three very scary gentlemen in front of them, turn around, two weedy ass little guys, and think, yes, we'll go back that way.
Yes. Unfortunately
No,
for them,
that's fine.
the weedy gentlemen happen to be us.
Yes, indeed. Stone.
Lure them into a false sense of security.
No one's better than a false sense of security than you are, Evelios. I'm sure you can manage.
Not all security needs to be true to be effective.
Okay, so you have a rough idea of a plan? Is there anything that you guys are going to kind of cast or build or construct before these guys come in? Any
I will-
ideas?
Try and experiment with creating some mines.
Well, you'll need to tell me how you're doing it so we can decide if it works or not.
Right, so I'll do the normal thing. I'll take scrap metal. I'll build a little casing, and then get like a little plate that's on top of it. So when it's stepped on, like that plate like goes down and breaches the vial of alchemist fire, and because it's like pressurizing it, it like spits everywhere and just ignites.
I definitely think that could work, but I don't think it would fire the shrapnel everywhere. But it would definitely fire the.
Well, it wouldn't fire shrapnel because obviously there's no
Yeah.
explosion
Yes,
that I
but
can't do. There's-
we could say it fires the alchemist fire everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
Stepping on the bottle.
Just like spits it everywhere.
Interesting. So, yeah, how long does it take you to tinker? Is it just like an hour?
Let me see. Tinker.
Or is it like a short rest type of thing?
1 hour and 10 GP worth of materials to construct a tiny clockwork device. Yeah, it's just like
Just an hour.
just an hour. That's for tinkering and building a clockwork toy, a fire starter, or a music box. So I don't know how you want to take that.
Yeah. No, I'll say you can do that in an hour. You can take some bits of the scrap metal and make like exactly like you said. These little pressure plates that explode the alchemist fire. You can make 2 of them. What's alchemist fire exactly? It has like a radius, right? It's like a 10-foot radius kind of thing.
It
20 feet.
usually
That's the range you
Usually-
can throw it.
usually
Oh.
you throw it and it's just
One
a
person.
single target effect.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
if it's going everywhere, then
Yeah, I'll say it's like a 5 foot in each direction, so it will cover like a 10-foot cube. I think that's fair enough. And you have 2 of them, so you can place them somewhere in the room whilst everyone else is kind of chilling, having like small conversations whilst you're waiting for Ulston to do stuff.
going
I
to
suppose that
cover-
counts as a short rest, does it?
It'll be an hour, so it wouldn't be quite a short rest, but you would probably get a short rest in this time.
I'm gonna just be prepared to cast a spell, a big AOE on them.
Yeah. Is anyone else Like, are you scouting out to try and see when they're coming, or what are you doing?
I'm gonna, with all of my insults to Ivelios, I'm gonna hopefully channel some of those into my weird form of inspiration for him in terms of like camaraderie, and to everybody else in a you can do better than Ivelios sort of a way. And
Thanks.
I'm going to inspire everybody.
Oh, lovely.
That's a D8, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Do you have the one where you keep it if you fail, or is that?
Yes.
Yes, you do. I thought you did. Lovely. So everyone make a note that you've got some of them. You've got 2 landmines to place somewhere, and as I said, are you guys just waiting in the room, or is somebody waiting outside to see when they come in? What's going on?
I was gonna, if everyone is okay with it, just scout a little bit further up the tunnel. I have my cloak. Obviously, I can blend in with the edge of the wall, and then, as long as I have some way to communicate with everyone when they're arriving, then I can give some advance warning.
I don't think Minotaurs are particularly known for having soft footfalls,
That is
so we
also
might just
true.
hear them.
Alright, I will place these mines. If you have like the entrance that they are coming through, and then you have the entrance that we're waiting at,
Mm-hmm.
I'll place it like right in the center between them.
Okay, like right in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right in front of the forge.
Pretty much.
In
As long as
which case,
he's told us where they are, so we don't accidentally step on them.
They're also
Very
not
much.
really that invisible, I'd presume. Do you want to roll like a sleight of hand to give me an idea of how visible they might be? Or a tools check probably would be better. With
Tools
your...
check.
I was gonna say I'll happily help try and disguise them if I'm able, but
Yeah, I'll add a guidance.
Yeah, with your tinker's tools, I'd say probably. Just
How
like
do I
an
do it?
intelligence with proficiency.
expertise if it's using tools.
just to digitate like the ground to look a bit more natural around them. And I don't know if that works, but
I don't know.
I'm also going to, if at all possible, how high did you say the doorway was?
It's about 10 foot by 10 foot tunnel. Wait, which
Okay.
one?
The one to the outside.
Yeah, about 10 foot by 10 foot.
Okay. I'm gonna see if, before everyone scuttles off down the tunnel, I can get Janus to give me a bunk up, and I'm gonna attempt to put a couple of pittons in the wall just above there and stand on them,
Mm-hmm.
and then just crouch down and hide, sort of immediately above the door. So if they're walking in underneath, they don't see me, so I can drop down behind.
Yeah, you can do that quite easily.
Lovely.
Uh,
And then I
Gonna-
would load
sorry.
acid into my rapier.
okay.
gonna turn to Wilston really quick as we're burying these landmines and go. The aim is to get them to approach these, isn't it?
Sure is. They're only useful when you step on them.
I'm gonna take out one of the many flowers in my hair and just kind of bury it on top of it. So it's just like a little flower in the middle of a forge, which is hopefully weird enough to get them to go, ooh, flower. And if not, a flower.
Lovely.
Wait. It's a great idea, Baloruk. And I will cast using magical tinkering. I'm gonna make the flower glow. So that it really
Ooh.
catches their eye.
Gleam and glow.
Ooh.
I'm gonna sing the song from Tangled. It's gonna be great. But I'm not, because maybe copyright's gonna get us.
No, you can do it. It's fine. We don't get paid for it anyway. Not yet. Any other plans for any other plans? Where's Michael staying in all of this? Sorry, where's Eric staying in all of this?
Eric is gonna try and so the door is here.
Yeah.
Here. The room is like here. He's gonna just try and hide sort of in the corner, like somewhere not obvious to the door. He's just, or is it a circle where the
It's a
door's here?
circular room. Yeah.
Okay. In which case, I will.
Yeah, You could get on the pitons as well, Frodo style, to look like a boulder. You know.
Perfect. I'll hide up there as well.
Okay.
Come join me up here.
I'm gonna need
Confuse smashing.
I'm gonna need a stealth from both of you then before this happens.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
And the other
I pull my
guys-
cloak up.
And the other guys are just out of sight, so you'll probably be
So,
fine without.
I
any
am-
stealth.
Casting Pass Without Trace for the two of us, so
Okay, so
Excellent.
that's like a 40 from Avelios then.
get a nice +10.
Well, let's see.
How sneaky are you?
Doing-
Yes.
42.
42. Okay.
Jesus Christ, man.
Natural 19, pass without
I got
trace.
39 with a nat 20.
Jesus. Yes, I don't think you guys are ever going to be seen ever. It basically just like there's like a little lip on the top of the doorway, like a little stone kind of like plinth. And the other two, you go hide down the slope. Now, it's going to be a couple of hours of waiting. Some of the tinkering happens, and then after that, you're going to be waiting for probably another about 45 to 55 minutes. Before the two people above the doorway will start to hear some kind of like grunts and snorts and shuffling and like the clanking of armor from outside. And kind of like the swishing of some cloth as creatures are approaching the tunnel. And you'll start to hear the footfalls as they enter the tunnel, and the footsteps start to echo down. And then after a couple of moments, the first Minotaur will start to walk out from the doorway. And they're walking two abreast. And the two walk through, and another two walk through, and another two walk through. So 6 of them walk through. And then the boss, he's in the middle. And then another 2 of them walk through, another 2 of them walk through, another 2 of them walk through. And then there's 4 of what you would very easily recognise as spine devils. Really annoying, screechy little things. And they're flying around at the back. Some of them are kind of like smacking some of the Minotaurs with their little claws, telling them to hurry up.
Okay.
And then you don't see anyone else. And that's the entire line. It's like a 20-foot line. So they would all be in the room probably just before they hit the landmines. And one of them will, at the front, will kind of like grunt and kind of like shrug it to his teeth, like elbow his mate next to him as he's looking down at this landmine, is the flower, sorry, in the middle of the room. And you can judge that they're all inside of the room. So how are you dealing this?
So I would like to. So they are 2 abreast. There's 1, 2, 3, middle, 1, 2, 3, and then Spine Demon's not necessarily in the line.
No, they're just kind of fluttering around at the back.
Yeah.
Just
So in that 10 foot wide by 35 foot.
yeah, roughly.
35 foot. I would like to cast a lovely spell called Tidal Wave, which is 10 foot wide and 30 foot long.
Okay.
So I would like to plop that right on top of 10 Minotaurs and the boss. It is also 10 foot high if that happens to catch any Spine Devils.
I definitely think it'll hit. It'll hit 2 of them.
And I would like to upcast that at 4th level.
Okay, so you're doing that. Ivelios, you've just seen that they've already entered as well. I'm assuming you're waiting until they get to the middle. The
Yep.
people that are down the slope, you've heard them enter. You might just start to see some of the glints of like their armor reflecting off the forge light as they're walking through the tunnel. You can peek over the ledge and see that as I said, the 2 in the front, they're just looking down at the flower and they've kind of stopped the procession line, and he's in the process of like bending down to pick it up. So, what are the other guys doing? You get 1 surprise round of combat.
How far was the ramp from the Minotaurs, or the middle?
About 60 feet.
Okay.
I really hope people don't come back and cross-reference this, because I don't think it was 60 feet last week, but it's about 60 feet this week.
And
It's magic. It's fine.
before
Yeah.
people start running,
Space is relative in this universe, you know.
Yeah.
And it shrinks
From-
and expands.
from where I am on my pittance above the doorway, how far away am I from the devil?
You would be about 25 feet.
Yeah.
20 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, 20 feet. 20 feet.
20 feet. Glorious. In which case, as Eric begins to cast his tidal wave, if I can get them off beforehand, Velos is just going to reach into the edge of his belt and pull out a pair of silver daggers that he carries with him, and just going to wing them both towards
Okay.
the bearded devil in the middle, the big guy. I think he was a bearded devil or a chain devil, whatever he was.
He was a bearded devil. He
I remember.
looked something like this, if you recall.
Very very.
A more humanoid version of the devils, the bearded devils. They look a bit more human than they do devilish. Maybe some sort of crossbreed
Yeah.
or something.
Nice.
But yes, what are the 3 people down the tunnel going to do?
I would like to let me just check. Yeah. Probably on the bearded devil as well. I feel like we're just going to gang up on this fella. I'm going to. Did you say he was 60 feet away from us?
The bearded guy would be 80 feet away from you because he's a bit further
Okay.
down the line. The first 2 minotaurs are 60 feet away from you.
Cool. I'll get one of the first 2 then,
Okay.
and
One
I'm
of them's leaning down for the flower, and the other one's kind of like looking at him, still stood up.
I'll get the guy leaning down for the flower.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on him and have, as I want to do, lots of like weird discordant sort of sounds, some whispering, some kind of a bit more forceful. Just gonna in his head just go, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and try and freak him out.
Okay.
For funsies, you know.
Lovely.
Very good.
In that case, Janice, you've got something to do, and we've got a Wilson something to do.
Wilson, you want to cast haste?
No, Wilson's gonna build a flamethrower.
You could have built the flamethrower in the 45 minutes that you spent waiting.
But it only lasts an hour, so like, why would I?
Okay,
like,
fair enough. Yeah.
If I don't know when they're coming, I'm not gonna build one to like
Yeah,
have it
fair
see
enough.
fall apart.
I will
Just
be
going to
waiting.
that 3rd level. Just
Okay.
Janus will be waiting.
Okay. You'll have like a full turn of stuff to do. But if that's everything, then we will we'll roll initiative to see who does it first.
Oh,
Great wait.
Lovely. Janice does nothing first. He's so good at doing nothing. He does it first.
I sit
Go on.
ready.
and I wait.
Kill some people.
Who are we
Successful in
missing?
initiative. Probably me.
Missing a Bellerock.
We are.
I
What was Bellerock
rolled a
saying?
20.
You rolled a 20.
20.
Actually, Janus will let out. He will rage and let out the loudest rage he could possibly do.
I'll give us a performance.
I cannot do that. I have people sleeping in my house.
No, I meant a roll.
Oh, okay.
You can
They won't be
scream if you
sleeping
want.
soon.
It's not a great one.
It's definitely louder than your average roll. Okay, so Janice, you get to do that first. You pop yourself into a rage. Bellerock, your dissonant whispers pops off on the guy that's leaning down to pick up the flower.
How do I do this?
And let me roll my thing.
3rd level that I wanted to do. Yes, it is.
So
Bang.
is Janus staying on the downslope?
Hmm. He's basically revving his engine.
Can the Minotaur give me a wisdom saving
save.
throw?
It most certainly can. A 19.
What?
Sorry, does that mean nothing happens?
That's fine. It's half damage, I
Half
believe.
damage. Okay.
Yeah. So 1. Good job. I cast it up. 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay.
Math.
Concentrate. 15 points of psychic damage.
Okay, lovely. So the first guy you can see is his eyes kind of like narrow sharply, and it's like you can see the veins and wrinkles in his face like become really. How much damage was it? 13.
15.
Have you halved it?
Oh no. So
Okay.
7.
7. Yeah.
And that's works.
We roll
8.
them.
Yeah, 8 because we do it up.
Ooh.
And yeah, like the veins in his head pop out a little bit as he's reaching down to pick up this flower. And Ivelios, you get to throw your daggers at the guy in the middle first.
Yep.
Or second, now. Go for it.
I'm guessing, by the way, we're not supposed to be on a map.
No, there's no map.
Okay.
No map for this one.
That's a 25 to hit for the first one.
And so it misses. No, it hits him. It hits him.
Good. That's the right answer. And because I was hidden, I had advantage, which means I get sneak attack. So,
It does.
tell you what, I'll roll those in a second. Straight attack
Leave
for the
that
second roll, because I'm no longer hidden,
Yep.
which is only a 20.
Only a 20. Wow. No, it still hits him. It
Still hits him. Good.
Yes, it does.
So, let's see what we get out of this lot. Yes, we'll re-roll that one, PSO.
Way too much,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Slightly. Absolutely dog, actually.
You say that, but still probably going to kill him in one hit.
35 points of damage over 2 hits with silver daggers.
Lovely.
And then I'm going to drop down from my perch. Just cloak's going to flutter a little bit and just land on the floor and stand without a weapon at the minute and
Lovely.
just be like, ta-da.
Lovely. 2 daggers swipe through the air, but one in each shoulder blade as he kind of staggers forward slightly. Wilson, you bring up your flamethrower. What is
Yes.
that? Is that a bonus action or an action?
That's an action to build it, and then I can command it with a bonus action.
Yep.
So I'll just build it and then command it to like, go do my bidding, you flamethrower. Tell it to like go 30 feet and just on them.
What a blast.
We have some lovely little images for these, but we don't have a map. But I'm going to show it anyway, because this is what your flamethrower looks like. Here you go. That's Wilson's flamethrower.
Isn't it cute?
Adorable. So it rolls up the hill slowly and
Feet.
menacingly.
The little feet.
Yeah, they could walk
Tiny
and roll.
Love it.
No. This one's got feet. This one walks. Like,
So it clanks its way up the ramp. Okay. And it's the surprise round, so Eric, you go next.
Okay, we're going to drown them.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to change it to be the back section. So the front 2 will remain unharmed,
Okay.
all the rest will, and then however many spine devils.
Yeah, I'll hit 2 of the bearded devils.
The spine
Spine
devils.
devils, yeah. They'll hit 2 of them.
So that's total 10 minotaurs, 1 bearded devil, 2 spine devils. All of them need to make dex saving throws.
It's 30 foot long, did you say?
30 foot long,
Yep, yeah.
10
that
foot
hits all of
wide,
them.
and 10 foot tall.
Yep. Dex saves.
Yep, DC 17.
Okay, well, I'll do it like this way instead because they have no modifiers. 10. DC what?
17.
Okay, every single one of the Minotaurs failed.
Lovely. So they're all prone and take full damage.
The boss in the middle, he failed as well. And the 2 spine devils that you hit first, have they failed as well? Surely, right?
Everyone is prone
All of them failed.
and takes 5d8 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, a big tidal wave of water like flies up in the air and starts to push its way through them all.
Everyone takes 28 damage, so that's 336 damage.
28. Lovely. So it kind of rolls its way through these people like one by one, knocks them all to the ground. The two of the spine devils are literally like just kind of like smushed into a paste instantly by the wall as it hits them straight on.
Oh no.
And then the wave hits some of the Minotaurs. It crushes them right down into the floor. It hits the guy in the middle. It pushes the daggers even further into his back and smushes him into the floor as well. Completely like crippling him, crushing his bones. He's dead as well. Unless he can live through like complete bodily crushing. But it doesn't seem likely. And then it comes to a rest, kind of behind the two people at the front. Give me a... I don't know, like an Arcana roll.
10.
Okay. And then the wave comes to an end. And all of them are prone, apart from the two at the front and the two spine devils at the back that you didn't hit. And all of them, apart from the two at the front and the two spine devils that you didn't hit, are very, very wounded. They're basically kind of like groaning and rolling around on the floor, completely soaked in blood, bits of broken bones sticking out all over the place. And now we come back around to Janice, who's cleaned them up, I guess.
Are dashing down.
Okay, you can get to the first two,
Yay!
I
That's
believe.
what I do.
Okay, you have a bonus action.
I do. No, I don't. No, that's all I can do.
You probably have second winds and stuff like that as well.
No, because I used that last time.
Yeah, you did. Alaric then. You have another turn.
Oh, I was expecting the landmine to have gone off.
To be fair, they haven't stepped forward yet.
They
They've
haven't
just
had a
been
turn,
absolutely
yeah.
smashed.
It's why I don't want to run in because the landmine's about to go off. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, true. If you run up to the one in front, then you'd probably set the Lion Man off yourself, Janice.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes!
So sorry.
I mean, you could avoid it if you want, but you could step on it if you want. You want to step on it? Okay. So you like step on his foot and crush it into the flower on the
Wait,
landmine.
can I? In this
No, no.
case, can I? Can I hold an oil flask in my hand and step on it?
Yeah, if you want. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
Okay.
remember you're vulnerable to fire
You are
damage right
vulnerable
now.
to fire at the moment, but you are raging, so you take.
Yeah.
You'll just take normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
So you charge over and you like stomp down on his foot, crush it into the flower on the landmine. It blows up in a 10-foot range. The oil. What damage do these do? What's the oil? It's like a 1d6, right? Or d4?
Oil is.
I was assuming you had oil to do this.
Yeah, I've got an oil flask.
Thought you did.
The target is covered in oil. The target takes an additional 5 fire damage from the burning oil.
Okay.
That's all it says.
So we'll say it adds, because Alchemist Fire just lasts until they put it out, right? So we'll say it'll just add 5 extra damage to every tick of the Alchemist Fire. So the Alchemist Fire explodes. It covers the 4 in the front, 2 of them which are prone. It covers you as well. We'll probably have a dex save on this, to be honest, like a DC. What's your normal save for stuff, Doom? Like your normal save for spells or abilities.
How can I check that?
It'll be 17.
Spellcasting
It'll
DC
probably be
17.
max. Okay, so we'll get a dex save from these guys, and you, Janice, if you would like.
Okay. Do I have advantage because danger sense or?
You would, yeah. You definitely are aware that this is about to happen.
I'm in danger.
All of the Minotaurs failed. Janice succeeds. So Code and Alchemist's Fire, and is it at the start of their turn that they take the damage? With Alchemist's Fire, do we know? I think it is.
I should know this.
I think it's at the start of their turn that they take the damage.
I just
Yeah,
want to point out as well.
I think so.
This entire time, Janus will be maniacally laughing, even when he's on fire.
Yeah, at the start of each of its turns, and then they can make a dex check to attempt to extinguish it.
Yeah. Okay, so they are covered in like roiling flames. It's like they're wet, but they're also covered in fires. It's like an underground volcano kind of effect. They're steaming, but also smoking, covered in gore, blood, bones. The two at the front are still looking relatively healthy. Then Avelios, it's your turn.
All
no,
right.
Beleric. Sorry, we skipped over Beleric
Yep.
because we went back. Beleric. Sorry, mate.
What's the damage? Is my question.
It happens at the start of their turn.
Oh, okay.
It's a D4 for the alchemist's
D4,
fire,
D4 for Alchemist 5,
but plus a flat
plus
5.
5. So
Yeah, Beleric then.
So everybody's on fire.
Well, some of the Minotaurs at the front are at fire, yeah.
Good. What can I do about that? I mean, I don't.
Well, I've also got.
You could join us on the exit side.
Could.
Being a big, strong
I'm
meat
not-
shield as you are.
Join the weak boys in the back. You said that they take damage at the start of their turn,
Yeah,
so
they'll take it at
we
the
don't
start of
know
their
how
turn.
much that's. Okay.
No, but they're all on fire, so it's definitely going to hurt them.
I just don't want to
Oh.
waste a spell slot if it's gonna, they're gonna
Fair enough.
set on fire later. Yeah, you know what? If I'm 30 foot back or so, I'll use all of my movement to kind of get into the room.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually, I'll spin round the back as well, which I imagine will take action and bonus action. Sorry, movement and action. Just
Yeah.
kind of go.
You can get to the middle of the room with bonus with a sprint, and then it'll be another 20 feet to get to the back of the room on your next turn if you'd like.
Okay, I'll go into the room and then skirt around a bit on the edge. I don't want to walk into the fire, so I'll.
Yep.
Kind
The
of
fire's
come
just
into the room
pretty
and go.
small in the middle. It's just a 10-foot cube in the middle.
Oh, lovely. Little bonfire. Yeah, I'll just kind of shuffle around so that at least I'm in the
Okay.
vicinity for whatever may occur next.
Anything else?
No, I'll just wait for them to fizzle out.
Okay.
Suppose.
Avelios.
Yeah.
okay, there's a couple of spine devils right next.
Yeah, there's one just to your left, one to your right. They're kind of hovering, but you'd still be able to hit them.
Okay, in which. Yeah, I'm going to draw my rapier and lunge it towards the one on my left.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of grand entrance, crouch down, and then I'm
Straight
going
through
to
the
attempt
heart.
to stab that one.
Like fishing,
So-
but it's a flying creature.
Yep. So that's a 27 to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even need to check. That hits, yeah.
Grand. Lovely.
A
Yeah.
27 hits the super weak spine devil fodder.
Yes.
You've probably killed
Of course.
hundreds of these in your lifetime, to be honest.
Yes.
But you're well aware of what it takes to kill
Wait a
them.
minute. Hang on. Rats,
I think-
actually. If there's one on each side of me,
I think in
No,
theory
I've
you
got-
would have advantage because Eric would be within 5 feet of them because he's just above the doorway, and they're flying.
Oh, excellent. In which case,
So I think,
they're
yeah,
flying-
technically, you would have
if
an
I have
advantage.
advantage, that's a natural 20.
Okay.
So,
You still hitting? Yeah.
yep.
Of course it is.
But it's a crit. So, let's just roll and then add all the numbers together.
We like big numbers.
Big
Let's
numbers.
see.
and
This
we
has a
cannot
chance
lie.
to be one of the bigger numbers that we've seen. Well, in one attack. I don't know if we're going to see more than 300. What was it? 324.
Yeah.
48.
Yeah, 336.
That is
336.
70 points of damage exact. Oh wait, no, hang on.
Oh,
73 points of damage.
73. That's
Don't
what made the
underkill
difference, bro.
yourself.
He was still alive, but that extra 3 took him down. No.
Yep.
It's
And just right in behind a wing membrane, and then just crossing out.
it takes him a good moment to actually realise he's dead, to be honest. He still flaps his wings for a good couple of seconds. And then all the blood just kind of, like, it all comes in one, and he flops to the floor. Very much dead. Very much
Lovely.
dead.
And then I'm going to turn to the one next to me. Bonus action, disengage, and just bring my sword up and be like, excuse me. And just sort of flick my sword towards him ever so slightly as I take a step back, and just settle in. Sort of, yes, excellent.
Combat sense. Lovely.
Stepping into the doorway, like under where Eric is, so
Okay.
that if anything tries to get past.
All right.
Sorry, I meant to say, obviously, I dropped down when, like, I did my...
Okay. Well, you'd still have an advantage anyway, because he would have
Right.
definitely been within 5 feet of them then. So that's
Yeah.
all good.
Lovely.
We have a Wilston then.
Wilson is going to send his flamethrower to like go over the mine that hasn't detonated yet.
I thought you could only move 15 feet a turn.
It's 30.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you would have just enough range to reach it in this turn.
Yeah, and as I'm like driving by, like the first thing he drives by that's not on fire yet, I will fire my flamethrower at.
Okay, there's like the third rank of Minotaurs. Those guys aren't on fire at the moment, and they're both prone. So I think you have a disadvantage on range attacks against prone creatures.
But is it a range attack?
Oh yeah, no, the flamethrower is like a dex thing, isn't it?
It's a
Yeah.
dex
It's a
save.
cone. Is it not a cone?
It's a
Yeah.
15-foot cone.
Okay. So you would be able to hit.
The dex save DC 17.
You'll be able to hit 3 Minotaurs. The 3rd rank and then 1 in the 4th rank. So 3 dex saves. 3d20. Oh, they probably all failed again. Yeah, 10, 9, and 11. Yeah, those 3 failed. So roll your fire damage on those 3.
15. About average.
Ah, it's all good because they all burn to death in a ball of breathing flame. It just like scorches across them and completely eliminates all the leftover bits of water that was left on their bodies. And we'll need another dex save from... Can you stack Alchemist's Fire? Yeah, why not? Maybe subject to change, but for now. Okay, so we'll need another dex save from Janice. We'll need another dex save from the cannon, but I think the cannon automatically fails them, right?
Is it still
Yeah.
advantage because of danger sense, or
Yeah.
fine?
We're still in danger.
2d20. The 2
No, but not
Minotaurs at the front. Oh, the 2 Minotaurs at the front both succeed. 2 19s from them.
I won't be alive for long.
And then the 2 Minotaurs that are prone on the back.
I'm just having a really bad day.
They both have a disadvantage, so... Yeah, they both failed. No. Meet it to beat it. So one of them succeeds. One of them fails. So that's some more... That's... Okay. So that's 2 Alchemists Fire on 3 of them. 1 on 1 of them. And... You've killed 3. Anything else? Can you do anything else?
Is anything like not on fire and still like perfectly fine?
No, all of them are on fire. There is one Minotaur that hasn't yet taken damage, but that's because it hasn't been his turn to take damage from the Alchemist's Fire yet.
I will shoot at him.
Yeah. He's at the front on the left. He's the guy that was watching his friend pick up the flower. 26 hits.
It's like an execution.
Oh, wow, just 9 damage. Is that it?
Yep.
Wow, that's the lowest damage we've seen.
Shame,
campaign.
shame.
Right. Do you want to roll your fire
Explosion.
damage, though? Do you want to roll your fire damage for your Alchemist's Fire? It'll be 2d4
Oh, yeah.
plus 5. You can roll it
2D.
once, or you can roll it for each one. It's up to you. Do you want to roll that for the 3, and then one of them takes 1d4 plus 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need another 1d4 plus 5. Okay.
That's it.
It's fine, because they were all on 6 HP after the wave, so it kills the 2 that were on the floor burning. They just kind of, like, peter out. They're on fire, and, like, they were rolling around trying to put the flames out, and then they just slowly stop moving. There's a lovely smell of Minotaur. A bit like... I've already used that joke, actually, haven't I, about them smelling like beef. Oh, well.
Yeah.
And the 2 at the front get a go, and actually all of the guys at the back get a go as well. So those guys aren't on fire.
They're just prone.
They're just prone. Okay, so they're all going to scramble to their feet. Can I look around? Look around, see what's actually going on. The looks of
just
horror
hide.
that come across their faces are like... you can tell it even though they're not the same race of creature as you, and they kind of turn around to try and run. See that you guys are both in the corridor. Heft their battle axes, and they just start to rush you, basically. 5, 10, 5, 5. So there's 2 Minotaurs that rush right towards both of you. They're going to go for each of you. Just literally bull rushing, horns knocked right down as they're charging right towards you. Which gives them... yeah, they're attacking recklessly.
Wait, the 2 front ones
No,
are running away.
The back ones.
Okay.
The back ones are at the front compared to Eric and
Oh, okay.
Elias.
Yep. So a 23 on Evelios and a 13 on Eric.
Gonna
1-3.
silvery barbs the one at Velios.
Yes. You got a 24 instead.
Oh,
Right.
the thought was there, and I'm gonna give
So you get to give an advantage to someone.
I'll give advantage to Evelios.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't
Uncanny
trip.
dodge.
What does that do?
That halves damage against.
Okay.
So.
The one that hits you does a total of 14 piercing damage. And I'm assuming
Okay.
13 misses Eric. Yeah.
So,
And then
Ole!
the 2 behind them are going to run in as well. They just about reach you. Yeah, no, they reach you and still have 5 foot of movement left. Also attacking recklessly. The one on Avelos this time was a 15. The one on Eric was a natural 20 for a 26.
misses.
That 20 hits me.
Natural 20 hits you?
Oh no, I've only got one reaction.
It's all good.
Alright.
Yeah, it's still the same turn. 23 piercing then on the one that runs right into you.
Lovely.
And then the one that's still alive in the 4th row that didn't get hit with the flamethrower just reaches you in time, but it's kind of a bit of a clusterfuck, so he's just going to swing his great axe instead. Also attacking recklessly with a 21 to hit. Were you
Whom?
about to do something? To hit you.
Oh, yeah. Mushroom comes down and glances the blow.
Okay.
Misses.
So there's 5 currently like right in front of you, 2 at the back, all of which you have advantage on attacking because they were recklessly attacking. And it's... No, the 2 at the front get a go. So neither of them are prone, actually. There's just Janice in front of them. So they are just going to try and attack. They probably haven't turned around yet, so they don't know that everyone's dead behind them. Both of them rolled a 24 to hit you, Janice. So I assume they hit.
Yeah, they both hit.
The first one does 25 slashing, and the second one does 7 slashing.
Okay.
I haven't halved it, so you need to halve that yourself.
25 plus 7, and then 16.
And then, Eric, it's your turn.
So, there's these 5 all around me. Now, I know they're very close in to me. Where's one central point that has the most Minotaurs around it?
What's the radius on what you're trying to do?
I'm trying to hit one person and then everyone within 5 feet of them.
You can very
So I
much
imagine I
easily do that. You can hit the guy. So there's 5 of them. There'll be one in the middle at the back that's kind of swinging his great axe over his friends. You can aim it to that guy and it'll hit all of them.
Perfect. Then I'm going to ice knife that guy. And
So
I'm
it's a
going
dex
to
save
attack.
for the other 4, right? For all of them,
Pardon?
actually. It's a dex save.
So yeah, so we'll deal with it first. So the 22 hits,
Yep.
and they take 6 piercing damage, and
He's
then
down.
everyone. Pardon?
He's down.
Okay. Everyone within 5 feet does a dex saving throw, including him, but he's already dead.
Yeah, the highest they got was a 14.
They
So
all take.
failed.
Oh,
Ooh,
they all take 4 cold damage.
almost,
That is-
almost.
Disappointing.
Just the
Um,
juxtaposition with all the points of damage they're taking, man. Cold, fire, water, they're all wet. Psychic damage, explosive damage. Bloody hell.
and that is going
Original.
to be my turn.
Okay. There's one last fly devil left,
Oh, I forgot about him.
who I think he's simply going to try and fly.
They'll fly away.
Probably just fly past you, really. They're really impish, scared creatures. He's just going to try and fly past.
Don't have a reaction.
Yes. However, he can disengage, which he's going to do. And he's going to fly. 5, 10, 15, 20. He's going to fly. He's going to be 35 feet behind you.
I am going to try and do something. When a creature moves within 10 feet of you, I can use my reaction to deal a d6 necrotic damage to them.
Yeah,
Halo
yeah.
spores.
Go for it.
Hopefully they have less than 6 necrotic damage.
They do not have less than 6, unfortunately, but it's some damage. And that guy is 30 feet behind both of you down the tunnel. He's almost to the edge of the tunnel.
Okay.
And the other one's dead, so he doesn't get a turn. Janice,
Ah, that's me. Fire
Yes.
damage?
2 in front of you. You succeeded on both the dex saves, I believe.
Oh. So did I not take the fire damage?
No, you're not on fire.
Oh, okay.
Somehow you're not on fire. You run with a flask of oil in your hand and step on a landmine. But you've somehow managed to escape the burning.
I slash.
Okay.
Reckless.
There's one on the right, one on the left.
1 for each.
Okay. Both of them get hit. The first one takes 23 fire damage. He's cut down right away. 1 burning slash across his chest. The other one is also cut down. He had 14 left. 15 damage takes him out.
And then we move forward to the others.
Yeah, so you'll be 5, 10, 15. You're about 40 feet. No. Yes, you're about 35 feet away from the others.
This is fine. That is my turn.
So you'll need to move another 5 feet at the end. Beleric then.
Who's still alive in the vicinity? This little spine devil?
The
that
Spine
it?
Devil is at the very end of the tunnel leading out. And then there's 4 Minotaurs left that are looking really, really fucked up right in front of Eric and Avelios at the back.
Okay, is the spine devil nearly out of the
Yeah,
tunnel?
he's right at the edge of the
okay.
tunnel, yeah.
Can I do anything about that? Probably not, but I'm gonna try. Sorry, I know you just said this. How far away would he be from me? Gendering this devil, I don't know. Would they
From
be away
you,
from me?
about 35 feet as well, because you're on the same level as
Sure.
Janice.
Okay. I'm. I'm gonna try this and hope they're not intelligent. I feel like it's gonna fail. I'm going to sidle up so that I can see this spine devil at the end, and try and be me. I'll make a noise to get attention, hopefully, and I'm just gonna look at it and go, "Come," and
Okay.
I'll cast command on it.
Intelligence save?
It's a wisdom save.
Wisdom save, okay. I rolled the wrong one. Wisdom would have been a 9.
Fails.
Okay. So he's
Very,
on
very
his
calm.
turn. Yeah, on his turn, he has to use all of his turn to move towards you, I think. So he has to like dash towards you, right?
Yes.
Anything else?
Follow the command on its next turn. And that's an action, isn't it? You say healing spells are bonus actions for you.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, healing
Wonderful.
spells are healing potions as well. To drink yourself.
Who was it? Okay, so I can't healing spell somebody else.
No, you can bonus action healing spell someone else.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And
I
it's
will
potions that are a bonus action for yourself, but they're an action to heal to give to someone else. But yeah, spells just a bonus action.
I got it. I will cast Healing Word at Eric because he got
God. Bison horns.
did a bit.
Oh my god.
It's like you're talking about a pumpkin or something. It's
To be fair,
not going to be much.
he is the gardening type.
That is pathetic. I'm so sorry. That is 6 points of healing for you.
Oh, thank you. That's taken me almost up to full health.
Nobody question how that's happened.
Magic.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thanks.
We're moving on to an Adelios then. There are still 4 in front of you, and then there's the Spine Devil that's about 30 feet behind you. At the edge of the tunnel.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm just going to. Out of the ones that are in front of me, are there any that look most unharmed?
All of them. All of them
That's
look the
fair
most
enough.
unharmed and the least unharmed at the same time.
In which case, the one that's right in front of Eric.
Yep.
I'm just gonna step sort of behind Eric, and then dart around the side and just sort of in with a blow, and then retreat back behind the frail old man.
Go for it.
They all have 2 HP.
So
They do.
I don't think I have advantage because I'm not flanking directly with it, but
you have an enemy within 5 feet, so you still have sneak attack if you need to use
yeah,
it.
still have sneak attack.
Yeah.
That is a 21 to.
Yeah.
Lovely. Sorry, this was a booming blade. I did mean to specify
Yeah,
that.
just in case he didn't die. Yeah.
Yep,
Of
just in
course.
case.
Booming Blade better be a cantrip.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Good. Using damn spell slots on 2 HP.
I have Booming Blade. I haven't used it yet.
I don't think you can whilst you're raging.
No.
To be fair, I don't think the movement
Well, that was
aspect of Booming
pathetic. 25 damage.
What do you mean? That's almost enough to kill him when he's full HP. He's dead.
As Evelios steps around the side, and there's just like a thundercloud just wraps around the blade, and then just sort of out the other side.
It scatters him all over the wall.
Dreadfully messy. And then I'm going to sprint about 20 feet down the tunnel towards the Spine Devil, so that if it's running past me, if it's running, then it has to go past me.
What do you mean?
Like, so if I run towards it, because Belrox said they had to come, it's running
yes, it does,
towards
yes.
Belrox.
Yes.
Yeah, grand.
I forgot to do it.
I don't know if I take opportunity attacks from any of the
you will
Minotaurs that are...
From 2 of them. No.
Okay.
From 3 of them. From all 3 of them, actually.
3 of them. Yep.
Unless
Cool,
you have
they just
anything
happen.
to stop it.
No, because... actually, yeah, bonus action disengage. Sorry.
They don't get opportunity attacks upon you then?
Yeah. As Evelios goes to retreat back around Eric, and as one comes towards itself, just sort of drops down to crouch, and then boing,
Lovely.
straight off down the corridor a bit. towards the devil.
It's a Welston's turn then.
Are there a couple of them alive in a group still?
Yes, there's the three at the back. They're all in a group together.
Yeah, I will send my flamethrower like in the middle of that group and cause it to explode.
That'll be a dex save from all of them and Eric as well.
These guys are not having a good time.
12.
So, because they don't have a modifier to their dex saves, I'm just rolling like 4d20, 3d20 at the same time. I just rolled it and they had a 12 with 3d20. So all of them failed. They got 2 nat 1s and one of them rolled a 10.
This has been a horrendous couple of seconds for these guys.
So
I feel
two of
like
them
it's been
take
like they were in a group
26.
project and the leader's like absent for the day or something. I feel like that's what happened here.
He's not absent, he's just paced on the floor.
Well, absent paced, what are you gonna do?
All of them
The leader
are...
was present, and then some silver daggers and a tidal wave happened, which is enough to ruin anyone's day, quite frankly.
All of them are completely incinerated. And it would be their turn, however they're all dead. Yes, they're all dead. And Eric, it's your turn now.
I am going to take aim at my little spiny friend with a chill touch. A 24 to hit,
Yep.
doing 7 necrotic damage.
Okay. He's
Fat fella.
definitely now wounded. Some
Oh,
hairs in his wings.
okay. In which case, I'm going to move up closer, yeah, move up closer. Get ready for him to come back.
Yep. Which he is going to do. However, he doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. So he's...
Spores.
Yeah, you can do that.
Wait, what? What? Just generally?
Yeah, in general.
4 necrotic damage.
Or... Also, it wouldn't provoke it anyway because it's forced movement. So
Nah. No, it uses your movement, doesn't it?
yeah, but it's still
'Cause-
forced, right?
I think forced is when like they don't move under their own power, like
Well, yeah, but he isn't.
being
Like,
shoved.
like if you're pushed by a tidal wave of force versus literally just sprinting.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, he doesn't take them anyway. So he's gonna dash. Well, fly dash. Can you fly dash? Surely you can.
Yeah.
He fly dashes through the air right up to Beleric.
Just gonna hold my arms out, waiting.
Come to me. And Janice, it's your turn.
How far away is he?
He's like 20 feet away from you to the side. 15 feet away from you to the side.
For a hand axe.
Oh no. Go for it.
Reckless as well.
Oh, so there's Beleric. He is he stood there waiting for the Spine Devil to come to him. Like a comedy movie. Do you want to describe what happens?
He's just floating there. He's about to reach Beleric. Beleric's holding out his hands. He's like, "Oh, come to me, come to me." And then out the side pan of the view, you see this hand axe twirling through the air and just decapitates his head immediately. And the
I'd like
hand,
to still grasp the body.
no, the head lands in Beleric's head, their hands, but the body drops to the floor. And the blood all squirts over him as well.
Lovely. Okay.
I would like to rage.
Yes. Okay, we're out of combat for now.
I think that was a successful ambush, guys.
I'm gonna
I
turn to
have to
Manny
fix it.
and be like, "What have you done to my shirt?"
I also somehow took no fire damage. What's happened? I
Well,
had,
there's
I had the flask in my hand and everything.
I don't know how it will. But I will.
alrighty.
Gage,
Yeah.
may I ask how much
may.
the XP are for Minotaurs, Spine Devils, and Bearded Devils?
So usually it's 700 per Minotaur. However, it's a bit less because they're a bit less in this world.
Yep.
It's 50 each, I think. No, 75 each.
That's what I thought.
So 12 times 75. Spine Devils were just normal Spine Devils, which are 450 in total. So 100 and something each, 112.5 each, I think.
Yep.
This bearded devil is a little bit stronger than this. He's a little bit stronger than the Norman bearded devil, so you didn't get to see that. So he's just 1,000 XP in total.
Lovely. So everyone gets 470 XP.
Very nice.
Where I wrote that last time. How much? 470?
Yes.
Yeah.
That does not
Can't
sound
add
right.
that.
The Minotaurs are 75 XP each.
Hmm.
Times 12?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 12 times 75, add 450, add 1,000, divided by 5 is. So overall, it's like 2,200.
No. I think I might have said it wrong. They're 75 each times 12. The Minotaurs are 75 per person each.
Yeah.
So it's 900 straight off the bat for each person from 12 of them.
Oh, I was dividing it by 5 people. Okay.
So sorry, we just said it a bit differently. So that's 900 each from the Minotaurs.
Oh, so all of this is each. Okay.
No. It wasn't. That's why it's confusing. The Minotaurs were. So it's 900 for the Minotaurs, and then the rest of them were what I just said.
Right. So 900
Math.
each for the Minotaurs,
Yes.
450 total for the Spine Devils, 1,000 total for the Bearded Devil.
Well, the bearded devil itself is worth 1,000. The spine
Yeah.
devils themselves are 450, and there was 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so 4 times
Oh.
450.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
So,
divided
well,
by 5.
18. So 2,800? That sound about right?
I've got 1460, but
That sounds more right.
Wait, so it's
14.
14.
so we went from 470 to 1460. So I'll just do 1460 mathematics 63. I've got it to 56,395 now.
Can you repeat
Lovely.
that number? Because I did it with a calculator and got a different one, so this goes really well for me.
It's just because I said it in different versions. It's my
Yeah.
mistake.
56395 total.
Lovely.
Thank you.
And if no one wants to do something right away, then we'll call our mid-session break there.
Yep, it'll wait.
Grab
That's fine.
Yeah, all right. We'll come back in about 5 minutes then. We'll go
Okay.
grab some food and all of that good stuff.
Eric Live. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against demons every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
I am Ivar, formerly the commander of the Bastion's forces. Now, I seek a way to redeem the loss of the Great Wall, and to return my family to its honourable position once more. For money, influence or power, I will do whatever it takes, and earn my name back.
Ivelios Ilkenhiel is a half-elven gentleman and sea dog who graduated the Imperial Academy as an alchemist in his young days. And though he is most well known as the daring captain of the legendary privateer and sea demon hunter, the Inevitable Demise, the piratical alchemist, as he is known, is still rumored to be the driving force behind some of Aleria's most recent alchemical innovations.
Janus Ricot, a human boy raised into nobility by his lesser-known knightly parents, forged into a soldier to fight against demonkind, a hero to the common folk as well as their protector, a paragon to fellow soldiers and bane to all demons, general of the 7th Army and Archdemon's plight, Bellum's demise and the slayer of war, the Warbreaker.
Eric Live. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against humans every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
I am Ivar, formerly the commander of the Bastion's forces. Now, I seek a way to redeem the loss of the Great Wall and to return my family to its honourable position once more. For money, influence or power, I will do whatever it takes and earn my name back.
Ivelios Oakenheel is a half-elven gentleman and sea dog who graduated the Imperial Academy as an alchemist in his younger days. And though he is most well known as the daring captain of the legendary privateer and sea demon hunter, the Inevitable Demise, the piratical alchemist, as he is known, is still rumored to be the driving force behind some of Aleria's most recent alchemical innovations.
Janus Ricot, a human boy raised into nobility by his lesser-known knightly parents, forged into a soldier to fight against demonkind, a hero to the common folk as well as their protector, a paragon to fellow soldiers and bane to all demons, general of the 7th Army and Archdemon's plight, Bellum's demise and the slayer of war, the Warbreaker.
Eric Live. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against humans every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
I am Ivar, formerly the commander of the Bastion's forces. Now, I seek a way to redeem the loss of the Great Wall and to return my family to its honourable position once more. For money, influence or power, I will do whatever it takes and earn my name back.
Ivelios Oakenheel is a half-elven gentleman and sea dog who graduated the Imperial Academy as an alchemist in his younger days. And though he is most well known as the daring captain of the legendary privateer and sea demon hunter, the Inevitable Demise, the piratical alchemist, as he is known, is still rumored to be the driving force behind some of Aleria's most recent alchemical innovations.
Janus Ricot, a human boy raised into nobility by his lesser-known knightly parents, forged into a soldier to fight against demonkind, a hero to the common folk as well as their protector, a paragon to fellow soldiers and bane to all demons, general of the 7th Army and Archdemon's plight, Bellum's demise and the slayer of war, the Warbreaker.
Eric Live. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against humans every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
Right. We're back. You've just committed basically a mass slaughter of all these Minotaurs and devils. They deserve it, you know. They're the bad guys. They're here to take your land, right? Fuck them. What are we doing?
Start burning bodies.
And
I don't think we
Evelos
need
is
to
gonna
burn the body.
Evelos is gonna rush in as Janus reaches towards the bodies and points towards the two neatly decapitated corpses of a couple of spine devils and the mush that is left of the other two. Be like, can we keep a hold of these for a second, please? I may have something useful.
Bah. Janus starts throwing all the Minosaurs into the lava.
And Evelos is going to attempt to go through the spine devils and see how many intact or mostly intact spines he can extract for them for use in creating potions.
Go for it.
Is that, what do I need to roll for this?
It would be a survival check. Yeah, survival.
Excellent. 16. Actually, I'm going to use my inspiration from Beleric on this one, which makes it a 20.
Okay. Well, luckily for you, none of them used any of their spines, and each of them have 12. So, 20. Yeah, you can just have all of them.
Grand.
I might figure out a different way to do that in the future, but I can't think of a way that
Yeah.
might work on the spot.
Cool. So, 48.
I go to Mr. Beardy Boy, who I know is the one who was writing the note, see if I can find any notes on him or anything of note on him.
Okay. Yeah, give us
I
an
imagine they're a bit
investigation.
wet.
They're a bit wet, probably a little bit on fire. Maybe got a bit of ice particles on them as well.
I'm also going to use Beleric Inspiration and my Guidance for a
For a
nat
natural
1 9.
Yeah,
That
so you
was
do find a
amazing.
couple of bits of paper on them. However, they are completely soaked through with blood and water, and the ink is pretty much completely run because they're all freshly written, the ones that he was carrying on them. Some of them, one of them looks like it was like the one he was currently writing on because it's not a full page, and the ink's just run on them.
I'm going to call out Beleric Prestidigitation
I'm
and see if that might work.
currently standing wherever Janus is going, just glaring, and every so often there's a glance down at the bloodstained silk, and then a return to the glare. And when Eric kind of calls over, I'm just gonna, prestidigitation. Clean myself. I'm thinking, sorry, did you want something? And then I'll head over and see if it works.
Yeah, you can go and no, it'll work. You can press
As long as you don't make me say it, it'll work.
You can prestidigitate the pieces of paper to try and reveal some of the lettering on them if you want. It's again written in Infernal, which is only Eric can read that one. And some of the words are missing and blanked out, but you can get the rough gist if you want to sit down and read them. But what's everyone else doing in the meantime? Anyone else for anything else?
I'm gonna jump on the back of that and sit with Eric and ask if he can you read those out loud as you're reading. I've never had the chance to learn Infernal. I just kind of want to. No, I won't understand much, but I want to kind of see how he's going about translating stuff.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm going to investigate whether or not my mines worked the way I designed them,
Mm-hmm.
and note down my findings for future reference.
Okay.
I'm wrapping up all the spine into a neat bundle and just making sure they're all pure and there's no extra pointy ends, and just mumbling about how these are excellent ingredients. Oh, the things I can make with this, sharper than ever, and stow them away.
Lovely. In that case, you sit down and read through the bits of paper. So there's 5 pieces of paper, and 3 of them are pretty much entirely devoted to noting down the people that you wanted to bring on this mission. Which includes presumably the names of all the Minotaurs and the Spine Devils that you've just brutally murdered. And the last one, it's like halfway written. And you find that basically he just likes to keep quite detailed diaries. It's a diary of how the Spine Devils were being... The last page, sorry, it's telling you of how the Spine Devils were being really annoying and he had to discipline them for scratching some of the Minotaurs at the back. And saying that he was going to punish them when they returned. And he was just kind of writing about how it felt to walk through the caves before you kind of killed him, and he could not continue that story. And then there's a first page, which, if you remember, it was the page that you were reading at the start, which talks about how the reinforcements didn't show up, and that they still needed to go and get Yagrath anyway and proceed into the mines quickly. And that's the start of the list of names. Quite a few of the names are crossed out. Seems like he had a lot of deliberation whilst he was picking out who he was going to take.
But I'll as I'm reading, I'll read things out in Infernal. I will say some things phonetically to help Bell follow where I'm reading. But afterwards I'll mention. So I wasn't able to read them at the time. I didn't have enough time, but there were lots of notes in this devil's abode residence. It seems he's very keen on journaling. So I feel if we were to get there and pore over these documents in more detail, we might find some interesting information. I'm thinking particularly about our big friend in the middle, the big fire guy. Maybe we ought to head there first before we try and take on some of these other people.
I also think it might be interesting to fan the flames of their descent somewhat, if there are already imprudent spine devils in their midst. I wonder if we can simply use infighting to our advantage.
Do you feel you could assist that? You would need a disguise, surely.
So, like, if there is any area in which I excel, it is in antagonizing.
That is true. Can confirm.
Just from the other side of the room.
Yeah, I'm busy testing the sharpness on one of the spines, and Evel's is just like, yes, absolutely. Very antagonistic.
Learn from the best.
Sorry, were you saying something before I interrupted you?
I can make myself look like a spine devil and go and annoy several people, potentially.
Interesting. Well, if you were to try that whilst we were investigating the hall, it could be a worthy distraction, or at the very least, quite fun.
I feel like we're in need of a bit of fun lately. I would, however, not like to go on my own. Someone in my vicinity would be beautifully reassuring.
I'm going to open up to everyone else in the room and be like, we have a few days left before we won't be able to traverse the conditions outside again. I would like to deal with this situation. I think, though, the time is against us. Does anyone have any ideas or things they'd like to do?
There is a possibility, just a slight one, that has been brewing in the back of the head, if it's any use, which is that the big boy in the middle of camp is producing quite a lot of heat and general flame. Perhaps if it's an internal thing, then should he be removed, or perhaps even if we can just extract some of the gases that are produced, I could engineer something ramshackle with any other alchemicals that I have on my person or that are lying around the can scavenge to produce a somewhat mediocre cold ward for the way back.
Oh, so you suggest that we use the innate magic of the big guy to help us on our way back if we run out of time?
If he is producing heat magically, then there's always a way to siphon it off. Anything that is created can be put to another. So it's a possibility, but it might take a little bit of time to get right. Obviously, that goes against the grain.
I
Probably
would
be stationary to work.
I would not be surprised if we could find some details on our friend in the journals of this deceased friend.
Always
I would.
handy when your enemy likes to keep notes, huh? What a coincidence.
And it's not sent off
Like,
to a
we'll
friend
use
on
this.
the other side of the world.
Don't know what you mean.
Janus Wilston, any thoughts from you?
I was just thinking, if we kill the big guy and get rid of their heat source, then they have no choice but to flee. That's all I was thinking.
That involves killing the big guy.
I agree. However, he is very large. I don't know how feasible whether we would be able to get up close to him. But if we do some research and find out we can, I completely agree.
Depends how much we want survivors to take back.
None.
Leave them with some interesting stories to return to.
We don't need prisoners.
Either way, I don't think we have much time to waste. Now, if you all want to make some preparations here, I'm happy with that. I can once again fly to the office and have a read myself. After all, I'm the one who can understand. Or equally, people can come with me if they see fit, or if you wish to go around and take care of a few people one by one, that would be very useful.
I would. They're all perfectly reasonable solutions. I'd like to get started on crafting some chemics as soon as possible, really. So acquiring samples from the big lab would be my first call, but obviously people want to spread dissent or go on a rampage. I look at Janus, then those are all equally doable.
But what's very important is that we split the party.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Are you sending Beleric as a spine devil to do some distraction whilst some of you head to the tent? to discover about the big guy? Is that what's going on? Or
I would
was that not what's
suggest that
going
we
on?
did like I think that in the first instance, at least until people start realizing perhaps that their elite squad hasn't returned yet. So if we do the sneaky stuff while we can,
Well, if you do recall, it was a couple of days travelling through the tunnel, so they should have been planning to not return for a good 5 or 6
Yeah.
days.
so it gives us a bit of time to
If we need
scope
a
it, scope
distraction,
things out, return, have a bed, the bed.
if we need a distraction, give me a short rest and I'll go out there and fight some stuff.
There are still, just to be clear, there are still 83 Minotaurs and
50 something
about
spine devils.
15 spine demons. Yeah.
Yeah.
By my counts, there's 71 Minotaurs and 12 Spine Devils left. You may not have knocked off the ones that you killed in the Forge the first time.
21 and 5, did you say?
71
And 5. Right.
and 12.
If we could filter them through
sorry.
this
It's
forge,
not good.
if we could
just-
filter them through this forge and kite them, we can deal with this.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go and head off. I'm gonna go and wild shape into a fly and head to the tent to see what I can read.
Was
Because I can.
as I say, was other people going with you?
That's what I was gonna say. Is anyone gonna come with me? Would be.
I think
more
I
exposed.
would. I would come with, just so that as you're reading stuff, obviously, if we're learning about the big boy, and then we're closer to acquire samples. So Avelios is hood up, poised at the entrance, and then as Eric flies past, it's going to be
Yeah.
hopefully.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can all go with if you want with a pass without trace. These guys don't seem to be very perceptive. If you want to all go, you definitely probably can.
I'm still concentrating on pass without trace. Actually,
Oh, lovely. In which case, that will be that's a nat 20 on stealth.
This is the highest it can possibly be with a guidance as well.
I do.
Throw a guidance on there if
Probably
anyone
still have
other
your
than Eric
inspiration
has it.
unless you used it.
I use that for
Did you use it?
collecting,
Okay.
sadly. But that puts me at a 43 plus any other bonuses. That's with pass without trace. So.
I've got a 29 stealth.
So
Hey.
wait, are we going?
We're all stealthing, so I'm not gonna
I'd
wild
like to
shape.
come with.
Okay.
Okay, you all go and then. Do you want to give me a quick stealth? It'll be just normal unless you have anything else, but with a plus 10, and presumably a plus 4. And most of you have what the fuck? I forgot what it is. Bard
Guidance.
thing.
Bardic inspiration.
Yeah,
So raise
you have inspiration as well, because I don't think anyone really used it.
the D8.
So
So
we
it's
have a
plus-
43, a 29, a 22,
I have disadvantage, so
a 26.
I got a 32.
With disadvantage.
and
'Cause
a
that's what
You
32.
rolled a 20 and a 19.
Yeah.
Enigma.
Okay, so none of you are ever going to be spotted. No. Definitely not in this camp. So you sneak your way through the tunnels and you sneak your way through the camp. It seems like most of the ones that were kind of walking around. So if you remember, Eric, when you were flying around and when Avelios was doing some sneaking, you remember that a lot of them were walking around doing menial tasks, like always looking busy. Now they're not. They're all sat around by tents. A lot of them are sat around the big guy as you kind of walk around past him to go to the main tent. They're all sat around eating food, playing some demonic games of chance. Some of them are having like a little bit of a pit fight in the middle, and the spine devils are all like floating around, like throwing bits of food at the minotaurs, and there's lots of roars going around as they're being really irritating and kind of pissing people off. So it's, despite what you rolled, you might not have been spotted anyway, because it's a very easy sneak. Most of them are kind of grouped up, enjoying some relaxation time after however long they've spent up here doing work for the past couple of years. And you sneak your way to the main tent. No one's guarding it. No one's there. Presumably these guys have a very strong kind of like leadership system that's going to prevent anyone from going towards the tent. You pull the flaps open and you find yourself in a tent that some of you haven't seen. But if you recall, it's a very big kind of open plan large command tent with a desk in the middle, a bed onto one side, and there's some desks and some tables and sofas and like pillows and stuff to one side, and like a meeting area and some area for some food, kind of like right by the doorway, and like some piles of clothes on the left, and then at the back behind the desk is where there's the chest, which, if you remember, is the one that has all the notes in. There's some notes splayed across the desk as well, and a couple of other boxes and things like that to just kind of fill out the space inside the room.
I'm going to spend as long as it takes, like an hour or two, skim reading all the notes.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for any information on the big guy in the camp.
Okay.
Any information about Yagarath,
Mhm.
whether that be any, yeah. I'm looking for any strategy things. I am looking in quite a detailed way for as much as I can.
Okay. What's everyone else going to be doing in the tent?
Can I make an insight check, if this is the right check, to kind of glance across the tent and try and work out where very important Emily fella might hide secret personal things, like not so much the strategy, the military side. I want
Okay.
personal info. So like, I don't know, I get an impression from looking at this tent that he might like go for an under the pillow sort of a thing, or
Yeah, if you
that
want.
kind of thing?
If you want.
Let's try.
What's everyone else going to be doing?
Janus will just sit by the entrance and stand guard,
Okay.
keeping an eye out.
Anything else for anything else?
Wilson
Yeah.
is going to like look for any like special materials or like any blueprints they got lying around.
Okay.
Any of their like research in terms of like weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Evelios is going to see if there's any
Any what,
still
sorry?
lying, any food still lying around.
Oh, yes. It's all been put away, but there is definitely still some salted rations and some food and some bottles of liquid as well that you can indulge yourself in. So, I think we'll go with Eric first. So, Eric, you head your way over to this chest filled with scrolls and notes. And as I said before, it's quite hard to see when you're a fly. Like, you couldn't take anything out. But you can move some of the papers on top, and you now see... you move some of the things off the top, and you see that it's basically scrolls kind of slotted in lengthways. From what you can tell, it looks like it's like just kind of like ordered in terms of age. Like there's really, really old-looking ones, like old parchment that looks like it's not been touched in ages. You can see, lots of dust caking these ones, and they slowly get a little bit kind of like looking nicer and nicer and more current as they kind of go along the chest like that. So where are you going to start?
I'm starting new to old.
Okay. So there is a lot of them, and it's going to take you quite a while going through them. But the newest one isn't going to be that new, actually. It's going to be from a couple of weeks ago, where he's basically literally just writing down everything that happens. He's talking about some fights that happened in camp, what food that they've eaten that day, how many days they're going to have left of rations if something goes wrong, if there's any deaths or illnesses or sicknesses that have happened, or any complications down in the mine, or literally anything. If they found any ores, if the rock hasn't been exactly what they were expecting. He's written down absolutely everything in these notes. So it'll probably take you about 20 minutes to kind of realize that that's what's going on as you're reading backwards. And you get through the first maybe 2 or so scrolls skim reading without finding really anything that you're probably looking for.
Okay.
So yeah,
Does this chest with the vertical scrolls,
Yep.
is the length of the vertical scrolls the same length of the chest, or is there a possibility of hidden things?
It's not the same length. They're definitely lower than the top of the chest, and there could be stuff underneath them. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna try and lift out a section.
Yeah, it's all in. So how it is? It's like inside the box. There's like a wooden construction which like slots all them in. So you can pull it out if you want, and it pulls out, but there's nothing underneath it. And you can place that thing on the desk, and you've got all the scrolls in front of you.
In which case, not trusting what's happening at the end because the most recent, because seemingly they've been here a long time by this point, and it's just the menial stuff, as you say. I'm gonna go and try a few of the oldest scrolls, see if there's anything about the setup, because that's maybe where the large lad joined us.
Lovely. So you go back to the oldest scroll, the oldest one. It's very, very cracked, and it kind of bits of it break off as you kind of unfurl it onto the table. Some dust sprays about, very Gandalf scene in Lord of the Rings where he unfurls the scrolls to get some information from. Very, very much like that. And the first word on this one is day one. Maybe, well, not the first word, obviously, but the first translation of the words is day one. And as you begin to read through them, you realise that this is... It might be the same person. Maybe he's just changed up how he writes, but it's a lot more brief. It's not as detailed, and it's not kind of everything that happens, unless nobody got ill in the first couple of days. It's not as brief, and maybe he's just started to write more and more, kind of the longer he's been up here. It begins with day one. And on these first couple of scrolls that are about day one, it details all of the beginning stuff. So all of the beginning troop numbers and stuff like that, all of the logistical things, all of the things that are taking up into the mountains on their first trip. Just kind of the statistical side of it. And then on maybe like the third or so scroll, he starts to write about the events of day one. And on this one, you find a little section under the title the Vorzarak, which translates roughly to Ember Titan, which presumably is the big guy. And the notes under this are pretty simple. It talks about how they broke him into... Oh, what's the word of it? They broke him into a hellish soulstone, and they'll be using him for heat up in the mountains, and how it will be a very useful asset. And that's basically all that talks about him. That's all the words.
So as I'm reading this, it says broke him into a hellish soulstone.
Yes.
Do I have any idea of what that means? Does that mean his essence has been transplanted into a stone? He's been taken out of a stone? There's maybe a stone here, or do I have any ideas about that sort of thing?
So you have no idea. You've not heard of one of
Okay.
these hellish soulstones before. I'm assuming you're just reading this in your mind, like reading. Or are you
Yeah,
reading it out loud?
I'll read it in my mind. I'm writing it down, and when I get to that point and I have no idea, I will call out to everyone and ask if anyone knows what a hellish soulstone is.
Janice, you do. I don't know if you want to say anything, but it's something that you know quite a lot about. It's part of your sword. You do know about them. Are you going to speak up?
Will I speak up about it? I mean, Janus will give like a glance over and like acknowledge it, and then he won't say anything.
Okay.
Keep your secrets.
Okay. Yes. Well, basically, you can read on a little bit more. They started off with a lot more people, and they have kind of like roughly yearly deposits, and yearly reinforcements. And it talks about how they kind of disguise this as raids on town settlements that kind of are along the edges of Aleria. So they disguise it as just kind of like ransacking the villages, and then they send some of their forces through up into the mountains from ransacking the villages. And you can kind of think about this and share it with the group, and you can kind of put one and one together and kind of correlate some of the timings of these to timings of villages that have been attacked along the coast, and you can start to kind of put it all together in a bit of a list. Evelios, you're the guy that's dealt with a lot of the coastal raids, So you're going to know quite a lot about this, and you can kind of think, oh right, yes, Baleford was attacked, 10 years ago. This must have been this. And you can gather that these date back to roughly around 15 years ago, is kind of when this whole mission started. Lots and lots of notes, and as I said, over time the notes start to get a bit more detailed. Maybe he's got less and less to do, so he's started to write more and more on his paper.
So it seems like they sailed down to a town, attacked the town, and then made their way into the mountains rather than coming in the mountains from the top and down.
Yeah, they go to a town, they ransack it, send back like a ghost force on their ships, and then send like the main bulk of their force up into the mountains. So the ships are kind of like a distraction, which is something that you guys won't have realized before. You might find a couple of interesting notes about how placement of the Vorzarak was a little bit off at the start. You kind of gather that he can't move. He's a very fat creature. He's very large. He just lies down and that's all he does. And they detail a lot about how they had to move. What do you mean, same?
Sit down and don't move.
So do I.
Sorry, continue.
You're not fat though. But yes, they had to do some placement moving. But interestingly, they only did them like daily. Like it was never like, oh, the placement's off, we'll move it now. It was like, oh shit, the placement's off, and then nothing about it for the rest of that day. And then the next day, they try and move the placement on him. But yeah, other than that, lots of notes about the mining, the resources, the stuff that they've been gathering, and lots of kind of not really interesting stuff that you probably get to a point and you're like, right, I won't want to read on anymore. I would imagine, unless you want me to keep telling you about it.
That's fine. So, it seems that the Vorzarak did not move here. It was brought here somehow. It just mentions broke into a hellish soulstone. Now, I don't know what that is. Maybe it could be maybe it grows out of the stone. Maybe it's like a summoning stone of some sort. Maybe it is the soul itself and can be pulled to it. I don't know, but maybe if we were to look around and we were to find a fancy looking stone, it could be something to do with that. I don't know. Any thoughts?
I have absolutely no idea what that thing is, but it sounds intriguing, magical, dangerous, all of the above.
I was wondering why he hadn't wandered off yet, if I was honest, so maybe that would explain it. Maybe he's aimed.
Maybe. It is kind of hard to wander when you have that map there.
Are there any stones in here?
Well,
Have you seen
Ballaric's been
anything?
looking around, so do you want to give me a couple of rolls for that? Probably just an investigation, I would imagine. Maybe give me three investigation rolls over the course of this reading.
I sure can. First one is balls. That is a grand total of 7.
Okay.
The second one is a little bit better. 13.
Okay.
Oh, this like gradually progressed. I love this. And then the last one is 17.
Lovely. Well,
Better,
luckily
better.
for you, it seems that this guy does not worry about anybody that isn't him coming into his tent without his kind of strict permission to look around. So, you find pretty much everything that you think there is to find. There are a couple of chests filled with gold at the back of the room. 2 specifically. One of them has 1,477 gold, and another one has
Numbers.
2,257. And kind of an assortment of gold and gemstones, which is odd. You don't really know why they would need gold up here, but they have gold up here. And
How much did you say the first chest had in it? Sorry, my brain short circuits with
So
numbers.
good.
I just hear them and go in and one out.
1,477 gold. It's not just in gold, it's kind of an assortment of jewels and jewellery and gems as well, but the majority probably in gold. And in Aleria,
Shiny.
anyway, you can just trade gemstones as like a form of money anyway. You don't need to sell them and then use the gold kind of thing. You know,
Okay.
something's worth a diamond, you can just give them a diamond. So it all works together as kind of currency. But other than that, you don't find too much. You find a couple of different sets of clothes, some fancy candlesticks. If you want to take them, you can.
Taking the candlesticks. The
Um,
lame is reference. And I'll take the clothes as well because I'm me.
Okay. There's maybe about 5 or so kind of like silvery candlesticks worth like 50 gold each. They've got a couple of gems inlaid in them. Quite crudely though. It seems like it might be a DIY job. But other than that, you don't really find any kind of hidden secrets. No, it's all pretty open. You don't find anything that might fit the description of a hellish soulstone. You find a couple of rubies in the gems, but as far as you're aware, rubies aren't hellish soulstones.
No. Know a lot about fancy gems. Okay. Is there anything to suggest that he's had any communication with home, or would that be like a different check?
Well, that would be looking through the notes that Eric's looking through.
Okay. In
Um,
which case, I'll leave my search and come back over to Eric and just say, does it say anywhere who he was sent by? I imagine it wasn't Jagarath.
No, this section just seems to be a recounting of what's happened each day. Maybe there are letters, but this seems more a filing system than anything.
yeah, so it doesn't note in any of the wording that he's had any communication with the outside. From what you gather, the deliveries have just been on a set day, and they've always showed up. So there wasn't really any need to communicate with the outside. It was kind of like a lone mission. You go into the mountains and you do this, and you don't fuck it up.
So potentially an independent soldier wanting to garner favor. Rather than one of the big scary generals sending this person. Maybe.
Maybe.
Have a half-hearted look through, see if I can find anything with like a wax seal on it or in an envelope. Can't read the words, so I'm looking at what a letter looks like.
No, you haven't found anything of that nature.
Can I look through the tent as well to see if I can find this soulstone?
You certainly can.
It's just investigation, isn't it?
It will be, yes.
Can I use my inspiration?
Inspiration, as in bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just a
You can
D4?
also use my guidance for a d4.
Bardic inspiration's a D8. And if you fail, you get to keep it. But I guess there's not really much of a failing on the investigation. It'd be a bit rude if I told you, yeah, you get to keep it, because then you know you failed the investigation.
Still got a 10.
You did.
Horrendous.
And what's kind of interesting, really, is the fact that as soon as Eric, it was kind of towards the end of of Eric's kind of research, just to time it all nicely together. Once he mentioned the Hellish Soulstone, you kind of thought, like, you sat down, you kind of had a bit of a thought about it, like, you know, oh wow, there's more than just the ones I know about. Kind of looking around the room, and the lighting in this room, it's kind of like it's a bit like a chandelier, very basic chandelier that's emitting a faint red glowing light that's filling the entire room. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's a Hellish Soulstone. And you kind of, you know, now that you've said the words and you've thought about it, you've recognised that this chandelier is one of the stones.
Janus is going to take it.
Okay. Everyone sees Janice going over and stealing the light source that's in the tent.
Gonna elbow Evelios and be like, look.
It's dark
What-
all of a
what?
sudden.
What have you found, Janus?
Oh, dark vision.
I look at the stone and Gage, what happens if I break this? Do I know what happens?
From what you know, that you can't really break them. You've probably tried to
Okay.
break it, but you've never managed to break them before.
Okay.
It's from what you know. You're not telling everyone else, but these stones are the literal soul of a creature in a rock, so you can't
Okay.
break it from anything that you've tried.
Okay. Janus addresses Eric and just says, "Oh, I just found a nice little cool light stone." Puts it in his pocket.
Do you want to try and deceive me?
You
Yes.
can roll if you would like.
I was trying to drink over here.
It's not happening.
Your charisma of
Not
-3.
doing
Oh no!
I mean, right. Just to preface this,
It is up to you guys how you want to. It's a player interaction, so it's up to you.
I got an 8 with my +5.
It is completely up to you guys how you want to play this as
Okay.
players.
I will say Eric knows there is a complete different change in how Janus is acting around this hellish stone.
Janus, if you know something, we are all trying to push in the same direction. Whatever happens, we will support each other, and I hope that if you found something that was of use, you would come to us.
Janus just nods his head and says, "I agree," and puts the stone in his pocket.
Okay.
Depends if dark.
I would
dancing lights, and it just
Oh.
illuminates.
thank you. Now I can get back to the important business at hand. As I pick up like a salted meat and open the bottle.
Lovely.
Are we moving yet, or? Is it-
I have just realised the time, so I imagine we'll probably be finishing here. And as long as no one wants to do anything else right away.
I want to know if I found any like the blueprint.
You won't have found any blueprints or anything like that. No, you might have found a map of the war camp, like an aerial view of the war camp. But that's the only kind of blueprinty thing that you would have found.
I will take the map and just bag folding.
Okay,
Yoink.
lovely. Well, yeah,
And Janice and Eric, sorry to
it's all
drag
good.
things on.
Got to
When
finish.
Janice and Eric were talking, I assume they were like in the middle of stuff. Am I allowed to do an insight check on Janus?
Yeah, I imagine it was a. I imagine you were all kind of paying attention to what was going on, so you could. I guess you could all do an
Love
insight
to
if
do
you
an
would like.
insight check.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
But the way, again, it's completely up to Janice how you would like to interpret this.
Well, if anyone passes, they know that Janus is lying.
I got a 26, so
Yeah, you know Janus is completely lying.
Yeah, 13.
I'm gonna sit on that.
You might not be able to see his face, but you can tell he's lying.
There's a shift in the tonality of your voice, and
The shoulders are slumped a little bit, you know, he's not got his hand on the hilt of his sword.
talking in
even-
A flat, and I don't trust it.
He's
It's
holding
not
it.
as usual F sharp.
The way he's holding it as well is like he's treating it with a lot of care. Like,
Also,
Janus has held it for more than a minute and hasn't tried to break it yet.
and in this room is a sofa, and he is not even looking at that sofa.
Oh,
You know what, that's the
you're
biggest
very
tell.
true.
Exactly.
The biggest sign.
And he is oddly calm for a man who has just grabbed a flask of oil and then exploded himself in the middle of a bunch of minotaurs.
Did do that.
He doesn't take fire damage. Ooh.
Nice.
Oof.
That was
Well,
very fun.
yeah, that was a good session. Thanks to everyone who came and watched. That was good. I always look forward to the next session, but as far as I know, we're on next week.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's told me otherwise, and we should be on the week after that. But then the week after that, I think we're off for that week because Bellerock can't make it. Hal can't make
And exciting stuff next week. Tattoo reveal, my first one,
it. Ooh,
Exciting.
Ooh.
fancy.
finally happening.
Maybe next week we could just spend that entire time doing tattoo reveals. Does anyone else have any? I don't think so. Do you? Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, I remember actually you showed me.
Yeah, they're really cool. I really like yours.
They're very smart.
They're sick.
Thanks.
I didn't say yours aren't, but you.
No, but you didn't say they were.
Only one person can have good tattoos. You compliment one person, you're slagging off the other person.
You are.
Correct.
But yeah,
Only
that was
one
good.
person on any given planet can have good tats.
I just want to mention
Any-
I've known Gage for so long. I think when I met him, he didn't have any tattoos.
No, I didn't.
See?
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn.
And now he's like full of them. He's just
Yeah.
fucking crazy, man.
More to come, more to come. But yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for everyone who watched again. Ivar, he's kind of on a he's down and out for the moment, but he will be coming back. Maybe not as Ivar, but maybe as a different character because he's been out for a while. We've been talking, having some discussions. He'll definitely be back for the season 2 whenever that's going to happen. I don't know how long it'll take you guys to save the king, or even if you will, to be honest. Although with your track record, I'm feeling pretty confident that you'll get it.
Our track record as
Okay,
being
guys.
running in, holding a flask of oil, and blowing ourselves up.
Well,
King's
you
gonna
killed
die.
everyone.
We find the king, but Jonas mistakes him for a minotaur, and we do not save the king.
It might be a demon in disguise, guys.
Oh, the devil in disguise.
Oh, lovely. But yeah, Ivar streams. Sometimes I stream, Doom streams. We all, join the Discord. That's the one
Doom
thing.
for
Join the
ice cream.
Discord.
I'm working on a montage, so go subscribe. YouTube.com/Doomblood.
Yeah, so, but join the Discord. That's the main thing. Join the Discord. You can chat with us all, hang out, play games, all that good shit. But yeah, see you all next week.